Yo, 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 what's good? Maximus here. I know it's late. As you can see, I got the shades on. I'm looking a little rough. You know what I'm saying? I just finished working. This is one of those things, where you don't really care to have it as something that you want to talk about, but it's one of those things that's very, very, very important to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Tonight, I'm here to talk about mental health. And as you can see, and this will be scrolling throughout the video, it's a suicide, depression, and bipolar hotline. The phone number is at the bottom. That's there so that you know, even if you feel that you're totally alone, totally lost, that there's help. I know I typically talk about things like dating, or I might jump on to some political shit sometime or whatever. But believe it or not, something like this is also an important thing to deal with when involving yourself in the dating zeitgeist. Because at the end of the day, if you ain't good up here and in here, you can't share yourself with anybody else. It's like being on a plane. You got to save yourself first, right? So this is one of those kind of situations. You know, I was looking up the statistics because I wanted to have the latest of the info. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to have the latest of the info for 2023. And it's crazy that like 50% of adults between the ages of 18 and 24 have reported feeling some kind of anxiety and or depression symptoms. Like this is crazy. These are people who are just starting off on this journey of life. They're just starting off and they already are feeling like, shit is not working in their favor or whatever it is that's happening that's keeping them from, feeling comfortable or feeling confident in themselves and is creating a feeling where they're getting anxious. Social media has a huge part to play in that too because me, I like to weaponize social media so that social media can be a tool used to educate, you know, and show like my perspective on certain things based on experiences I have. I've been working as a life coach and um, love and relationship consultant for over 10 years. I've counseled over 1,000 people at this point in my life. This is one of those things. There's a lot of people that know me that don't even know that I do this shit because it's not something I talk about all the time, even as a person, because you have to be a certain kind of person to do shit like this. Sometimes taking on that weight of everybody else can be a bit taxing. And in that, it's very hard sometimes to push yourself through even when you really, really want to. You know what I'm saying? So it's a challenge. It's not easy for me. There are days, where I'm up, there are days when I'm down, but it's something that chose me more than I chose it. So because of that, I found myself not really being able to get away from it. Like I tried to stop. I did, and I did for like a good couple of years. I wasn't doing this shit at all, and I felt kind of good about it in a way. But then it came back, and I looked at it this time and said, I'm gonna lean into it. And it's really sad because if you look at it, there are 12.1 million adults that have reported serious thoughts of suicide. And that's the latest report I got from November 7th of 2022. We don't even want to talk about what's come up since 2023. Some of these statistics are really crazy. And when I look at this, I'm just like, just think about it. To feel in a way where things have really gotten so bad that you feel like you just need to hit what you think is the reset button because you don't really know what's going to happen when you die. None of us do. As many people want to claim they know and whatever. Nobody really knows unless they've been there. And my whole thing is most of the people that, well, almost everybody's been there and didn't come back to give us a report. So, you know, you don't know what's going to happen once you hit that reset button. Because that's what I call it. I call it trying to hit the reset button because you feel like there's nothing else you can do. You feel like there's nowhere else you could turn. And I'm here to say it doesn't have to be a complete loss. I'm here to tell you, as a person that operates as a leader in a lot of circles, has a lot of people that call upon me, that look to me. I have a son, he looks to me for things. I have to tend to him with that, even sometimes when I might not have the energy per se to give what I need to give in order to be what I need to be for him. I have to persevere against the odds and keep pushing through because at the end of the day, if I don't do it, who's going to do it? And I understand. And trust me when I tell you, I understand. I empathize. I'm not here to hold my head up in the air and say I'm better than you because I'm not. I go through my shit. Like I said, I carry the burden of a lot of people's pain, hurt, emotions, and everything within myself a lot of times. And it took a lot of meditation, a lot of like training, what some people would consider prayer, whatever it is that you do, whatever you need to do. I'm not here to tell you what you should or should not do. The one thing I will say you should and should not do is you should not ever give up on your life, because once you do that, there's nothing left. There's nothing left to do. It's like, okay, you just do that away. Even those of you who think nobody's going to miss you, if you're gone, it's just going to be a shoulder shrug and you're going to keep moving or whatever the case may be. That's not how that's going to play out. You know, you will be missed in some way, form, shape, or another. You'll be surprised at the people who actually do give a fuck about you. Because there's plenty of times where I look and I'm like, and I'm gonna use myself as an example a lot in this because I'm not gonna air out a bunch of people's stuff from what I experienced because a lot of it's really personal and it's too specific to say it without blowing somebody up that if they're watching this or watch this eventually, they will recognize that. And I don't want to do that because everything that I discuss with somebody when I'm talking with a client is confidential. I do have the right to use a similar example, but I don't, I'm very careful is what I use. So I use myself because I'm an open book. And one thing I will say for myself is that there's plenty of times where I felt like I was by myself in a room full of motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? One of the things that I feel needs to be normalized here is, and I want this to be normalized. This won't be the last time I speak on this. I wish I could have did this earlier, but like I said, things happen today. Um, One of the things that needs to be normalized is mental health conversation. We need to talk about this, not make this weird, especially in the black community. From what I know, I'm not going to speak for communities I don't live in. Speak for communities I do live in. In the black community, we tend to push everything to the side. We don't like to go to the doctor. We think seeing a therapist is, oh, you're seeing a quack. You could just talk to your best friend or talk to your homie and drink a little liquor, smoke a little weed, and call it a day. Nah, sometimes you got to go a little deeper than that. And don't be afraid to cry that shit out. It is very healthy to release those emotions. A lot of times people don't realize when you hold things in, like me personally, it's one of the things that I'm working with, and when I do my therapy or when I do my consultation, because I believe in leading by example. So I'm not going to tell you to do something I'm not doing myself. And the thing is, I work very hard, and sometimes I forget to take care of certain things with myself. So I have somebody that I speak to, and the one thing that I've been working on myself with is learning how to be in touch with my vulnerability, because being that I've been leaned on for so long, I've fortified myself to the point where I don't even have access to my emotions. You know, earlier this year, I lost, well, y'all won't know this, but my oldest nephew passed away. This was one of the first babies I ever cared for, and it was a hard thing to deal with. But because me and my emotions, I don't really know how to access and express my pain. I can articulate it, but to actually express it, to actually cry something out, I can tell you, for all the people that I've watched died, and I've lost a lot of people through the years in my life, I could be honest with you and tell you that since I was really young, tears have not rolled down my eyes unless something was in my eye, like if something blew in my eye or something like that. Like, I lost my ability to summon that emotion to let that out. And I'm telling you now, like, that is a very unhealthy thing to do. Because of that, I walk around with a lot of pain inside of myself that I don't know how to let go of. So there's going to be a personal episode. So people will get a nice little introspective into me, see a side of me I normally don't show. But this is a very important topic, and I want people to understand. I'm going to lead by example and talk about mine. So, and for the world to see, anybody that pulls up this YouTube page can pull this up and see it. And I want y'all to understand that this isn't something I'm doing for the views or for the whatever. Most of the time, my viewership on these is not even that great off the jump, but this message needs to come out. And, you know, I've never been to the point of like suicide or nothing like that. Like me, I don't believe in things like that personally, but I could see how you can get to a really dark place, because I, in my life, have definitely been in some really dark places. I just never went quite that far. My mind went in other directions, but even with that, I was able to work through it without anything happening that would be, something that couldn't be resolved, or a line crossed that I could not back away from. So I was fortunate. But where I'm fortunate with that, there are many of people who fall over that line. You know, you hear the one bad day thing, for those that watch like Batman animated series and Joker would say, um, you know, almost every good person that's out there is only one bad day from becoming somebody like me, from becoming somebody who literally just loses their mind, loses who they are. And it's very true. A lot of people walk around up here all chest puffed up, all high and mighty, like nothing could phase them. And often those are the people who are the most vulnerable characters. Those are the people who are the most likely to crumble should shit hit the fan with them. Like me, I would say in my life, because I've been through a lot of shit in my life. I've had a lot of things happen. You know, my family, we came from nothing. We had life good, then life got really bad, then we had to rally back. And it wasn't easy. And a lot of that pain from all that time, some of that shit still ain't go away. Even when you climb out of it, and I've been very fortunate to climb out of that. But even when you climb out of that, you still find that the pain is still there. And that pain that's there, it's not easy to just brush that shit off. A lot of people just sweep their shit under the rug. They go about their life and they just hope for the best and blah, 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 blah. That's clean and all, but at the end of the day, you want to be in a position where you don't just deal with your pain and by brushing it off, but you actually are able to neutralize it. So this way you can operate with a clean slate. Because not having that clean slate, how, and this is where I'll tie in the relationship stuff with it. How can you be any good if you're a man and you're trying to be a leader, provider, inspiration to your woman and your family, or whatever your dynamic is? You want to be an inspiration. If you're the leader of your family, the patriarch of your family, you need to be able to lead them and have a clear head in order to do so. But if you're operating from a place of emotional vulnerability, and suppressing your emotions is not the answer, trust me, I will tell you. I am the poster child of emotional suppression. When I make jokes all the time, those that know me, they know that I often say, oh, I'm only light skinned on the outside because, it's a running joke. Light skinned people typically are more emotional in whatever the case may be. But in my case, I don't operate under those terms. Like me, I'm the total opposite. Like I'm a null void. I'm almost nothing really bothers me. Even when you think I'm upset, I'm just irritated. Yes, so I might be annoyed because I feel something is stupid. But emotionally, nothing is really bothering me. My heart rate's not increasing. You know, I'm not feeling anxious or anything like that. All that's happening is barely a surface level reaction. And that's about as deep as my emotions go 99.9% of the time. And like I said, that's something I'm working on. But it's a long process. Now, the answer to doing stuff like that is you really do need, if you feel like that is something you're going through, you need to talk to someone. I'm not making this a commercial to holler at me per se. Yo, you can call that phone number. That's free. Just talk, cry it out. These people are really good. They'll help you out. Because I will tell you, we've lost a lot of good people just because they were depressed and they felt alone. And often that's why I always emphasize, a wellness check. If you haven't heard from a family member or a friend in a little minute, take a little second and fuck a text message. Pick up the phone, listen to their voice, see how they're doing. Make sure that they're okay. Are you eating? Are you drinking water? Are you getting proper sleep? Like, don't ask it like a laundry list of bullshit, but, you know, check on each other here. We, as a people on this planet, are one community. And all of us need each other in some semblance of the form. Like when I'm doing my electrical work, I'm performing a duty that allows people to sit in a house like this or sit wherever they're sitting and they can watch this now while all their devices are powered by different things because people like me did the dirty work and ran wire through and checked voltage and did all the things that need to be done to get this thing set up. We all serve a purpose in this society. Serve your purpose. Look out for each other. Make sure that each other is okay. If everybody does that, there shouldn't be too many people that feel left behind. So many times, there were times I was having a shit day. My energy was just down. And I don't know how some of the friends of mine I have do it. They won't know nothing, but somehow, some way, here they come out of nowhere hitting me up. Yo, what's good? Yo, you alright? Like blah 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 blah. And then they'll talk to me. We'll talk about whatever we talk about, rapping and bullshit and all that. And eventually you feel better because you're like talking and you're engaging. You're realizing, gee, I'm not inconsequential. I do matter. Somebody actually does give a fuck. I just needed to sit for a few minutes and realize it. This world is a very busy place. A lot of us get so wrapped up in the bullshit that we forget about the basics. And the basics are things that would allow you to not miss out on quality moments or miss out on, moments where you might feel like you're struggling with someone. But the thing is, if you don't want to feel alone, you have to also partake in the world too. Isolating yourself is not going to help you. Hiding under a rock is not going to help you. Nobody understands what I'm going through is not going to help you. No, anybody can understand it if you share it with them. If you're not sharing it with them, what do you think you're going to get from it? You have to speak up. You have to be willing. The only work you have to do is pick up a phone. That's it. So I will say this too. A lot of our people are damaged. A lot of people get into these relationships. You see the numbers. 29% of people reporting depression or feelings of anxiety. 29%, that's a lot of motherfuckers. I forget how many Americans is in this country. What's America's population? Because my whole thing is think about it. All right, so if you look at the population, as of right now, we have 334 million people. 334 million people. That's a lot of motherfuckers. So If we want to be true to life with that and say, okay, out of that many people, you want to say 334 million people and be like that's a lot of motherfuckers. And you think about 30, let's just round up to 30%. Yo, that is 10 million motherfuckers. 10 million motherfuckers that are all throughout this country. I'm just talking about the United States. I haven't even went worldwide. 10 million motherfuckers in this country that are all walking around and they all are feeling some semblance of depression. That is scary. You got to think about that because in New York City, there's about 9 million people here. There's more people, there's so many people walking around sad, depressed, or feeling anxiety that they can fill up this big ass city and then some. Keep in mind, this is the most highest populated city in the country, one of the largest cities in the world. That's a lot of people. Enough people to fill up a city this massive, and they just walking around, they just feeling sad, or they just feeling down, or they have other mental health issues. Listen, when you go through a traumatic breakup, it is very important if that breakup was dramatic, it was very dramatic, if it was toxic, if you feel lingering pain from that relationship, it is okay to talk to somebody. Fuck with the parents back in the days, because I understand back in the days, parents was like, oh, that shit all bullshit. Nah, man, this shit is real. They had that shit back then. The only difference is they just hunkered down and sat in their little quiet corner and tried to work it out amongst themselves, which didn't work out well for a lot of them. They ended up abusing drugs or abusing, other things, whatever they could get to give them a high so that they can release themselves from the world. This is a real thing. All of us know somebody who drinks and smokes all the time, and they look lost when they're not drinking and smoking. They can't function without drinking and smoking. They gotta be drunk and they gotta be high as often as possible. They're not doing that because they just like to chill and have a little drink and a little smoke. Look, I got a big ass bottle of Patron right behind me. That bottle stays full most of the time unless I'm in some chill mode. I might bust a glass out and take a little sip. That's what people do just to have a little social sip or whatever the case. You want to have a little taste. It's cool. But no, these are people who drink in excess. They're constantly medicating themselves with the weed. They're smoking the cigarettes. All you're doing, you say, oh, I don't believe in suicide. But you got to understand if you're doing all that stuff to yourself to try to numb out the world, you are basically committing suicide on yourself because all that's happening is you're killing yourself with the chemicals that you're shoving into your body at such high volume. That's not helping you because at the end of the day, no matter how many times you try to be an ostrich and stick your head into a hole until whoever or whatever goes away, understand that once you have to eventually pop your head back out that hole, it's going to be the same shit or worse waiting on you. The problem is a like a mental issue or pain that you have in yourself is like a hole in clothing. Because if it's a small hole, you go to tailor, let them stitch that up, so now on the other end, if you want to be like, I ain't gonna bother with that, it's all right, it's just a little hole. That little hole ain't gonna do nothing but get bigger, bigger, and bigger. And you don't want that to happen because as this thing gets bigger, it's just going to make things worse. You don't want to be a part of that. You want to be in a situation where you can control your narrative. You don't want to wait till something gets god awful and then run around trying to fix it because you'll lose the quality of whatever it is that you were trying to fix. Once that quality is broken, it ain't going to come back the same way. So you need to be mindful of that. Like, there's so many different things that I've seen and I've experienced. I've seen people, I've seen really good guys be like, I don't know what to do. I try to do the right thing. I do this and that. And yet, and still, and not to be on no funny shit, but these aren't bad looking dudes. These are dudes that are successful. These are dudes that you think would be at the top of the pick list, but in a lot of cases, that's not what's happening for these brothers. And because of that, it's killing them. Like their ego is getting crushed because they think something's wrong with them. They're like, damn, and I'm just talk candid here. They be like, damn, is my dick whack or something? Like, the fuck is wrong with me? She ain't acting like it is, but I mean, I don't know. Because if I go by a girl's action and not her words, I'm not going to take her seriously because she's there. No. I'm going to go by what she's doing, and that will determine how serious I take her. But at the same time, whether I take her serious or not, no matter how much I pretend I don't care, obviously I do. And that's how these brothers feel. It's hard. That's why I typically don't fuck around with that kind of stuff. But I understand their struggle because that shit is for sure not easy. And the thing is that you have to realize it's okay for it not to be easy. The key thing is, and this the truth of the matter is the harder something is to obtain, typically the greater the reward once you reach there. But fuck all that. I want to get to what I want to get to now. Okay, there is a way you can speed up the process. You know how you speed up the process? You pick up the phone, you make a call. You don't even have to go in person. You can have a FaceTime like how I'm talking to y'all now. You could do a face to face video with your consultant and work out whatever issues it may be that you have going on. Because I will say this, especially when it comes to men. Men typically are the number one people who end up killing themselves at a great proportion in comparison to their female counterparts. Which, if you don't understand what I mean, I'm talking about like a black man, black woman. The black man's killing himself at a much higher rate than the black woman. And it's not because, and no, we're not going there. It's not because the woman did something to the man, and that's why he's depressed and blah 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 blah. No, it's just whatever's going on in his life has him in a position that makes him feel down, that makes him feel away, and because of that, he's going into a dark place. He's going down a path that could end up, killing his whole like energy. Something that could end up making him want to get up out of here. Because when you give up on life, you give up on living, you normally don't care. That's a very dangerous thing. But I want y'all to know, like I said again, I am here for you. I, Maximus, also go through pain and also have to get assistance. And I work very hard and I take a lot of pride in the fact that I take time out to do that because, again, men's mental health is something that is often ignored. And it's not right because it shouldn't be. That should be something that is very much addressed. How can you trust somebody to lead you, and and yet they never have any touch with their feelings? No, your emotions should not cloud your judgment. No, but it still is something where if it's a game of chance, which honestly, life for the most part is a big game of chance, you need to have some level of instinct. If you have no contact with your feelings, you're not going to have any contact with your instincts. So instead, you're trying to logically deduce something that, in truth, you would not have been able to successfully pull off what you were trying to pull off without first broaching the issues that you have currently facing. Now, that's again, you got to be willing to do the work. But don't shy away from this. I know some of y'all gonna look at this and I'm like, ah, Max talking this shit, whatever the case may be. Oh, look at him. It's so easy for him to say he's, doing this and he's got that and blah blah blah. Let me tell you something. I work very hard for anything that I do have. And there's still a hell of a lot more for me to accomplish. My start, I didn't start off like a typical person would coming out of high school into college and blah blah blah. And I was a baller. I've been an athlete most of my life. I got martial arts training. I played football. I played basketball. I've done rec teams, all of that shit. I went to college. I didn't want to go to a school. The thing is, I was trained like a machine since I was damn near old enough to walk. So I was tired of that. So as a renegade and a rebel, because I was 17 going on 18, thought, yeah, I'm gonna rebel against the family. I decide I'm not gonna play any sports. Fuck that shit. And I'm gonna go to a whack ass D3 school. So this way there is no temptation to me to go to the sport, to go into the sport. Yeah, that wasn't one of my smarter ideas. But you live and you learn. But even with that, you don't think that that haunts me sometimes when I have to get up in the morning and work, or I gotta study on this or whatever on that because everything is not hunky fucking dory because everything's not together. I hate the fact that I'm not retired yet. I do. And the sad thing is I had an opportunity and I squandered it all by myself. My mother did the best she could do with the time that she had to work with me. She did a great job. Me and my sister are doing great, but there were certain things that she wasn't privy to, and it were decisions that I made. Reason why I bring all of this up is because this is stuff that weighs on my heart when I look at me having to get up every morning and work like a regular ass person when I literally had talent that could easily set me aside from most of my peers. Most of my peers aren't capable of doing half the shit I'm capable of. And I wasted a lot of that because I wanted to rebel against, those that are with me. I didn't want, you know, I look at it and I say to myself, it's not easy when in your mind you feel like you're moving at like what, 1,000 miles an hour. Meanwhile, everybody else is just walking, taking their time, having a nice little, have a nice little basic little walk or something. But with me, one thing that I will tell you, and this is something I'm gonna say, 'cause I'm a little tired, so I'm probably gonna shut this. But I want you to understand, we need to normalize these mental health conversations because too many of us have lost people. Too many people. There's somebody right now, somewhere out there, that's about to make a decision that's going to end their life. And often it's for something that could have been worked out had they had conversation. So I want you to think long and hard. Y'all could do me a favor. If there's anything y'all could do, there's two things I want y'all to do for me. Y'all could share this video around. Like I said, that suicide number is at the bottom of the screen, scrolling in the ticker down there in case anybody needs the information on that. Also, there's something else you could do, which I just learned this when I looked up the information. Um, it was crazy because I was like, I didn't know this was a thing. But apparently you can either text 988 or you can call 988 right from your cell phone. And when you do that, it's going to route you to professionals, and they're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They speak a couple of languages here. So either way, it could still, and this is something that I hope that everybody takes advantage of. Because at the end of the day, if we don't look out for each other, how can we expect to be looked out for? So, in closing, 'cause like I said, my ass is tired, hence why I got the shades on, hence why I got the do rag on. I'm a hardworking guy. Sometimes that shit get tiring, so y'all might see me like this sometimes, because especially when I got to do the late shows. But I do appreciate y'all for listening to me. Again, maybe you want to come out, have a good time, and party. December 2nd, Brooklyn, New York. Fall remedies going down. You might want to pull up on that and just have a good time. Even if you gotta go by yourself, let me tell you something. If you ever party with people in the Caribbean community, one thing I will say is that it's one big family. Yeah, there are a few people, bad eggs, that is the negativity. But you'll be surprised once you're in the music and you're having a good time and everything's happening. Let me tell you, man, you can form some real camaraderie amongst people just having a good time. So even if you say, "Oh, I don't have nobody to go with, but I would go," that would simply mean you need to go and just work around what you do. That's all. You got to just work around the cards that you're dealt. Understand that it is not a lost cause for you. Understand that it is okay. It is perfectly fine. Definitely fine to be by yourself. But know that you don't have to be alone. For those that tend to feel by themselves, and I'm going to say this and then I'm going to cut. For those of you who feel like you're really by yourself, you have to learn to just come out to different things. Join a couple of Facebook groups, start interacting, socializing. Because a lot of people, reason why they get depressed too is they feel isolated. They don't feel like they have anybody to talk to, no friends to relate with, no peers, no nothing. And my personal suggestion, this is not professional, even though you could take it as that too, because I think I would be agreed with in that aspect too. But my opinion is that you should get up and try to engage, get a little more active on your social media, especially in a group with people who you're about to meet, because those preset relationships make it a lot smoother when it's time to actually meet physically up with people. So if you're one of those people that maybe has a hard time talking to people and so, like me, I'm really good at talking to people. It's easy for me. But, you know, everybody ain't built like that. So you have to you have to see what's up, and you have to kind of push yourself out there, even when you feel like, oh, nah, it's raining today. I didn't really want to come out anyway. It's some bullshit. Listen, don't do that. Don't be that person. You want to be the person who's winning. That's what you want to be. You want to be somebody that's winning. You know how you win? By never letting yourself lose touch of who you really are. The moment that you start feeling down about something or feeling less than, just step back and think for a second and realize who it is that you actually are. Because once you realize that, you're gonna be like, well, shit, I need to set this shit up. I need to figure out this. I need to chill out. Or blah 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 blah. You have to figure out where your power center is. Once you discover your power center, you will understand the importance of engaging with other people, the importance of getting out there. This is how you listen. Every long term friendship that you've ever seen, any long term relationship that you've ever seen, it all started from the beginning somehow, some fucking way. So the person sees you from, you know, who knows what, stubbing your toenail or something. But now he's got you like in a situation where now all you got to do is pick up the phone, and now you got somebody to link up with. That's a beautiful thing, because you don't want to be in a situation where you have nobody to talk to. Again, therapy should happen. If you feel you have emotional damage, that should definitely happen. I got funny stories about emotionally damaged people and them being in my inbox and stuff. But I'm gonna say that motherfucking shit for another time. It's coming on about 48 minutes, and I'm tired as hell. But I want to come up on here because this was something I really wanted to discuss. I have a lot more to say in this. There's a lot of other things I could broach, a lot of different aspects of this that I haven't really touched on. But like I said, we need to normalize this. I'm gonna keep saying that. We need to normalize this. I'm gonna keep saying it. We need to normalize this. Why? Because your mind is the most powerful thing in your body. If mentally you are in a bad way, physically that shit is gonna manifest itself. So work that out. Put yourself in a position to win. Like if you want to be put in a position to win, you have to be willing to at least step up a little bit and do the work necessary so that you can evolve to the next level. Anyway, this has been Maximus. I'm here Typically, this show goes on Wednesdays, 8:30. So, yeah. Anyway, I appreciate y'all for popping in, for those that popped in, for those that stayed in, and whatever else. And I will holler at y'all later. Stay safe and make sure you check out that number down below if you feeling away. So this way we can get you through. And another thing, encourage your peers. Normalize the concept of checking on each other, of communicating with each other, of loving each other, of looking out for each other. Let's normalize that because that shit doesn't happen enough. We're too busy putting somebody down. So many times I'll see a post about money. Oh, this person has this much money, but this person only has this much money. And if you ain't got this amount of money, then you ain't nobody to me. You just be shit. Like, but anywho, I don't want to go off into the weeds on that one just yet. But anyway, I appreciate everybody for watching this video today. This video will be on the YouTube page. So for those of you who are gonna catch this on the replay, which is like most of y'all, it's gonna be on the YouTube page. So check it out there. Like, share, and subscribe, of course. Matter of fact, I might even leave it up on Facebook just so everybody can see it because this is a very important topic. Um, yeah, but that's it. Y'all be safe. Have a good night, a great morning. Make all the money, or let the money, but never let the money make you. I holla at y'all. Peace.